Where are you?
I'm in a mountainous kind of jungle, and off in the distance is a golden pyramid.
Ah, beautiful. And I want you to just look down and see what you're standing on.
I'm standing on a rock boulder ledge.
Ah, very nice. And then take a look at your feet. What do they look like?
They're barefooted. Um, it seems that I'm a child. Feet are little.
Ah, very good. And are you male or female?
A boy.
Oh, very good. And hold your hands up in front of you. What do your fingers look like? What color is your skin?
The skin is light brown, and just little hands.
Oh, very good. And what type of garments do you have on?
Uh, One piece suede or skin kind of garment that's very soft and beige, brown in color, wrapped around my waist.
And do you have any ornaments on? Any necklaces or rings or bracelets, anything like that?
A necklace and
What's the necklace made of?
uh, a lot of different, I guess, beads and uh, mostly turquoise and brown and black, maybe not black beads, little brown beads, bigger turquoise.
Excellent. And then run your hand through your hair. What does your hair feel like?
It's silky, straight, black. It's about shoulder length.
Oh, very nice. And if you look around you, do you have anything with you? Any animals? Any others? Are you any equipment?
No, no. The animals are my friends.
Oh, very nice. And how did you get onto this boulder? Do you see the pathway?
No, I flew onto it.
Ah, very nice. And you said that you can see a golden pyramid. Is that correct?
Yes.
What I'd
It,
like you to do is right now, I'd like you to just magically float up into the air. You already said you can fly. Is that correct? You believe you can fly? And I'd just like you to float in the air and to just, as from where you are, give me an overview of what else do you see besides the pyramid.
well, it seems like a jungle, but the trees are more kind of coniferous too. So I kind of like trees, but it is warm. Um, and it's the pyramid is in a valley. The mountains that with the ledge I was standing on kind of comes up to that valley, but on the other end of the pyramid, other side, I don't see more mountains. I don't see. It's kind of like everything goes away.
Totally understood. And if you look back down on the boulder that you were standing on, does it look like the only way that you could have gotten there is by flying?
Yes, vegetation's very thick.
And you say the trees are carnivorous, whereas they could probably wrap a vine around you and pull you in, or
Yeah, I mean, there's all different kinds of trees. It's very kind of puzzling. Um, there's pines, and then there's like trees with big green waxy leaves, like you would think of a jungle tree, kind of. Um,
I know you've traveled the planet. Does any of this look familiar?
no,
Oh, very good. And if I were to ask you your name, would you know it?
I don't know that I can say it. Sharuka.
Sharuka. Very good, Sharuka. Sharuka, would you like to go and visit that pyramid and get a closer look?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Seeing that the vegetation is carnivorous, let's fly over to the pyramid. And flying up, I know you're going to get there soon enough. Could you describe anything that you see down below you, such as any type of animals or other humanoids?
No, it's just all the trees. It's very, very isolated. Very. I don't see any civilization. I don't. All I see is light now.
And let's go ahead and land. Let's get there in a count of 5, 4, 3. Halfway there, 2, almost there, and 1. You've made it. Where are you now?
I'm inside it.
You're inside the pyramid. Do you recollect how you were able to get inside?
I just melted through it, kind of.
Very good. And what are you standing on?
A gold stone floor, I guess. There is lines on it. I don't know if they are stone or stones have been.
That's okay. Don't try and figure out. Just go ahead and describe whatever you see. And what about in the room? How tall is the ceilings or the roof?
I would say 40 or 50 feet. Very tall.
Excellent. And how is the space shaped?
In the shape of the pyramid.
So you're inside a triangle room within the...
Yeah.
And how are the walls adorned?
There is writing on them. They're gold and shiny. It's like you have to focus on an area to be able to see what's written there.
Understood. And is there anyone else in the space with you?
No.
And just that being in that space, what do you think that space is? Do you think that's where you live, or what is your impression of the space?
It's not where I live, but I have complete and free access to it.
Very good. Well, we're going to come back to this pyramid later, but now I'd like you to go to where you live, where there may possibly be others. And we're going to be there in a count of 5, 4, 3, halfway there, 2, almost there, and 1. Where are you now?
I'm in Egypt, I think. Yeah.
Very good. And describe your surroundings, please.
I see the Nile. Again, I'm high above it on a ledge of a building. Looking at it, it is a busy. There's people all around doing no work and such.
And as you look at this space, what time frame do you think it is?
1200 BC.
1200 BC. Can you see the pyramids on the Giza Plateau?
I think they're behind me. They're close, but I don't see them what I'm looking at over them behind me.
Okay, so is it possible for you to go to the other side of, like you say you're on a balcony on this building, and if you turn around and go into the building, What's inside the building?
Great hallway, lots of pillars, a lot of people going and to and fro.
So basically, you live here in this city, but do you live in that building there? You think you're
Yes, I live in a building.
very good. Now look at yourself. How are you dressed? What are you wearing?
Uh, a long, uh, shimmery skirt with that's waisted. I'm a female, so I'm wearing what the women wear. Then there's a bodice top, but my space between my top and my skirt is bare. Bracelets all up and down my arm, 3 on the left arm, 2 on the right. Rings, headdress.
Who are you? Do you have a name? Do you know who you are? Just curious.
Hotshot.
Hashaput. Very good. And do you think all the people that are in this place, are they servants or workers?
Some are. Some are.
Is there any furniture in this space?
Yes. Seating. There's a bed. Um, at my desk, a little writing desk. Kind of like divans, not really chairs, just like cushy, kind of like seating.
Understood. And this particular level that you're on, you say it's high above the, I guess the skyline of because you can look down and see the Nile. How high up did you actually think you were? Say, for instance, you've been to a big hotel. Like, what floor do you think you could possibly be on? Like on the second floor, and you can see out the window.
Above the Nile, but it's not a building that's got a lot of levels. It's a building built on a hill or something.
Very good, excellent. And what
Yeah.
about the other side? As you look on the other side, how is there a windows or something that you can look out on the other side of the building, opposite of the direction that you just came from?
There's doors leading.
Very good. Let's go to the other side and see what's out those doors. I know you're in Egypt, but you might not be in Cairo, so
Yeah, there's if I'm standing on a covered patio and there's a bunch of columns overlooking a plaza where people are again going about doing their whatever. And across the Nile kind of circles around, and across the way is a town. I see it.
very good. And you, from your impression, how old are you?
30 maybe. 30.
Do you feel like you have a husband or maybe children or a family there?
I have a brother, but he's not here.
Excellent. Now, out of all the people that are standing around you, is there anyone who is almost like your guard or someone who stays close to you at all?
Yes.
Oh, very good. And describe character or person, please.
An older man. Um, he's wearing a dark robe. He's not dressed like me, with a hood. He has a cane, not a cane, a staff that he has with him all the time.
Very good. Now, this gentleman you could actually get some answers from. I want you to just acknowledge him and see how, when you acknowledge him, how does he respond? What does he do physically?
He smiles, he lights up. His eyes are very sparkly and gentle. He's been with me a long time.
Does he feel like a guardian?
He's a guardian and teacher. He is an intercessor. He stands between me and others.
Wow, very good. And I would like for you to ask him what your role is, and he'll tell you. He actually knows what you're doing.
I'm queen.
You're the queen.
And it was not something I wanted at all.
Do you have a king?
No.
And if you ask him, how did you become the queen? He'll tell you.
It was decided that I was the most qualified.
Bloodline?
Yes.
Very good. And ask him, what else can he tell you? What could he share with you?
That I don't wear this crown lightly. What I am trying to bring to the people is not accepted well, and I have to fight hard.
And what are you? I'm sorry.
To make the changes.
To make the changes. And I'd like you to speak loud and clear. It's absolutely okay. Very nicely. And what are you trying to bring to the people?
To help them know that they are all sovereign souls, that they all are gods, and that they need to wake up. That joins us, or whatever they are.
And
They are, and this is hard for them to accept.
And is the reason why it's hard for them to think in those terms or in that way? Have they been suppressed before?
Yes, they're slaves for the most part.
And who suppressed these people? Who were their?
They're leaders, the ones who control. My lineage, the priesthood, the ones who run the world.
And was there anything that happened to the former ruler which made you queen? What happened to the former ruler?
Died.
Was this her father? Is that correct?
Yes.
Ah, very good. And do you have his name, please? Just curious. You may ask your guardian.
I call him Taruta.
Very good. And how long had he reigned?
A long time. 30 years.
And which part of Egypt are you in?
Karnak. Luxor. Middle Egypt.
And how are you connected to, are you connected to the pharaohs in Cairo?
Yes, they didn't always live in Cairo. Actually, very seldom did they reside in Cairo.
Oh, very good.
And there are palaces all over too.
And what is your bloodline to them to make you a queen?
A daughter. My brother mentally is not stable. Everybody perceives me as male in my behaviors anyway.
Oh, very good. Very interesting. And who is the reigning pharaoh in this time?
I'm getting Tut.
Repeat that, please.
Tut.
Tut.
Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun. During this time, as the reign of Tutankhamun, are there any extraterrestrials involved with the pharaohs at this time?
Not that I'm aware of.
And what about your guardian?
Involved with him?
Well, no, just as you described the guardian, you said he had a staff. Would he be considered a sorcerer or a
No,
magic?
he's of the priesthood. He's a priest. No magic that I know of.
Very good. Just curious. Excellent. I'd like you to move forward to a very important day. A very, very important day that you find that will help you in the best way. And I want you to be there on the count of 5, 4, 3. Halfway there, 2, almost there, and 1. Where are you now?
I'm in the void, the space.
Very nice. And what does it look like in the void?
Total darkness all around.
Ah, excellent. Now right behind you, there's a beautiful light. And if you look at your shoulders, you'll see the light coming over your shoulders. And tell me when you can see the light coming over your shoulders.
I can.
And I want you to slowly turn around and face the light. And tell me just what does it look like?
Like a starburst. Just condensed
Beautiful.
center with rays coming out.
Any colors? What colors are the rays?
All white.
All white. Now would you like to enter into the light or would you prefer someone to come and greet you?
Enter into it.
Oh, very nice. And let's go ahead and enter into this beautiful light. And you are safe and protected. How does it feel just coming close to the light?
Welcoming, not hot, not cold, just bright.
Excellent. And once you pass through into the light, there will be someone there to greet you. And just let me know once you've passed into the light and who comes forward to greet you, please.
I'm in the light, and there's, I don't know who it is, it's a being, a huge being with a bird head.
Oh, very good. And I want you to just go ahead and greet the being with the bird head. And first, before you greet him, just describe the bird head, please.
A long beak, very powerful head. He's tall, so the head is big. The colors are of the feathers on the head are bluish, silver, indigo, grayish.
Excellent. And I want you to greet the being and then ask the being, who is this? Who is it? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you everything you need to know.
I already knew it's Horus.
Oh, very good. And as you look at yourself standing in front of Horus, how are you? What is your form now?
Female, human.
Excellent. And I would like for you to first ask Horus, what is your connection with Horus?
The creation codes. And I am of the angelic devic realm, as is he.
The angelic, could you repeat the last word again, please?
Devic.
Devic, very good. He has a message for you. Could you receive the message first?
That I hold codes. I have had codes. And I spread the code.
Very good, loud and clear. You had codes, you have codes, and you spread these codes. And you were spreading these codes where to them?
Through creation.
Throughout creation. And could he elaborate on the codes, please? Just for better understanding.
They're like computer codes that affect the DNA of life forms, human type life forms that come from the creator through the gateway.
Oh, very good. Are you one of the gate holders?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Could Horus tell you what was the purpose of the life that you just experienced as the queen? Just briefly.
I was holding energy for the people and transmitting it through my presence.
I would say a high vibrational energy.
Yes,
And did it affect the entire kingdom?
yes,
And through the affecting the kingdom, did it affect the entire planet?
and even the solar system.
How very good. Excellent. And before there, you were on a jungle in a jungle, and you were a little boy on a stone that could fly, and there was a golden pyramid. What was what was that particular experience that you had?
That was my first life as a human.
Your first life as a human, and how were you associated with that pyramid? Because you had total access.
Because I'm crystalline, it was crystalline, is crystalline. It's,
Very good. And so you were actually able to fly.
yes,
And what vibration were you holding? What density were you holding in that expression of yourself the first time?
11.
You were the 11th. And what is the difference between density and a dimension? Please.
Dimension relates to time and space, location.
Understood.
Density is frequency of consciousness.
Very good. Totally understood. And the how long back in time would it be where you were with the jungle and the golden pyramid in our linear expression? Was that millions of years ago that you incarnated in that form, or just curious?
2.4 billion years.
2.4 billion years. That was the first time. How many times have you taken a physical form as a humanoid in whatever density on the planet Earth?
500.
500 times. And how many as animals?
No animals.
No animals ever? Very good. And what is the purpose and mission as it exists now on the planet Earth?
To receive and spread the codes.
So that would make you a gatekeeper and even a portal for this information, is that correct?
Yes.
How many true gatekeepers and or portals are there on the planet in human form?
There are many different levels of gatekeepers and portals. There are portals in each city, and there's more than one. Gatekeepers there are less of.
And what is the difference between a gatekeeper and a portal?
A gatekeeper opens a gate, cleans the gate, maintains the gate, protects the gate,
Very good.
and does receive codes for the gate. A portal carries the codes amongst the people. A portal moves. Gates are stationary. They're places where the energies come into the planet. Portals connect to the gates and move the energy around.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that explanation. We appreciate that tremendously. Could you please, obviously, your horse is familiar with what's taking place on Gaia now, is that correct?
Yes.
Could he please provide an update on the readiness of Gaia in the ascension process and our linear expression?
Gaia is ready. She has been ready, as I was told in 2004. The work that's done with her specifically now is all in an effort to assist humanity through this process. She cannot hold this energy back forever. She created like a holding platform, allowing us to continue to play our games to a certain extent.
Are we also trying to awaken as many as possible to participate in this shift?
Yes, that's what the time was given for.
Ah, very good. She says in her understanding, is it correct that shortly they're going to be removing the 4D platform?
Yes, because she's moved into the area of creation that she can't continue to maintain that. She's a consciousness that needs to make her shift as well. And by volunteering to hold back so that light on her can match with her, she offered a great service, but she can't do that once the event happens.
Oh, very good. And do they foresee this event happening within our linear expression within the next 365 days?
Yeah, yes. Will it be completed by then? No. There will be much change. So.
Oh, very good. Are there waves of ascension for humanity?
Not in the way in which people have been taught. The waves are those that have shifted in frequency, and they don't all just turn on at once. It's a gradual building of them.
So individually, say those who are awakened and aware and with the intention to ascend will probably be moving into this shift quicker than those who are maybe not aware at all of.
Everybody has to do their work. And once they awaken, they have to make the choice. And there will still be much fear. The fear will prevent the choices. That is why it is so critical for there to be absolute transparency of all that has occurred for those who are unawakened.
Excellent. And at this point, how many humans are going to be able to make the shift with Gaia?
That is not known. It has been a major concern. Humanity has done this before.
Is there a probability that humanity may fail again?
Absolutely.
It's my understanding that and when you say fail, that means that everyone won't have an opportunity to actually make it through the portal into this higher dimension, and that there will be those who will be sort of left behind, but then sent to other planets and other places to continue with their 3D games. Would that be accurate?
Yes. There's the dream The plan has been for all of humanity to shift. Although there has been great interference with that, both in terms of off-world forces, but also on planet forces and internal alliance and alignment. It is
loud and clear.
this one was told the door was closed. Also told in 2004 that it was uncertain as to the success level for mankind, and that all the resources were being shifted that had been being used for the planet to help her create her 5D body to humanity.
And when you say all of mankind, you mean not every individual in mankind, but those who are resisting and still lost, so to speak.
All of mankind. We those that are awake, there's a threshold for ascension. And even though we are awake, there are things that we need to know and understand to be able to go with Gaia. It would be like taking a first grader into the university. There's certain knowledge that needs to be known and understood. And there are all kinds of resources available to help them get that knowledge.
Well, is there seeing that everyone that has lowered their vibration to physically manifest on Gaia in the first place, don't they have a higher aspect of themselves with full remembrance already? And how come that full remembrance can't come in online in this process as we're going through these higher vibrational areas? I thought that's what this whole thing was, as opposed to, okay, you're not going to make it because you didn't rise fast enough. So, of course, you say they can go to other planets and other places to continue with their 3D games, so to speak. But how does...
There are two lines of origin of souls. There are cosmic souls that on this planet. There are souls that have come from elsewhere.
Understood.
Either straight from source or from other experiences on other planets or in other densities and maybe even dimensions.
Would those be considered humankind, or those are starseeds, so to speak?
They're what you know as starseeds, yes.
Okay, so and in my understanding, just to be clear, the starseeds are not counting them amongst humankind, so to speak, when you say there's two different differentiations.
Oh, yeah, no. They came in and have their souls originated elsewhere. Where people get confused is not understanding that there are souls on the planet whose first iteration of any kind came from Earth. They are Earth-based souls.
And would that be considered mankind?
No, mankind is what's in the skin sac.
Okay, understood.
The density of 3D. And that is, there are different levels of man. There's unawakened man and awakened man.
So what I'm trying to get at is, if everybody doesn't wake up, then everybody has to stay behind, so to speak, or move to another planet or another expression somewhere else.
No. You're no one who has awakened and has gone through these initiations will have to stay unless they choose.
Understood.
there are many choices. There's not only the choice of awakening, there's the choice of moving further towards creator, which of course is many, many, many. And there's no words in terms of the experience. And what many are, there are those that are going to create totally new expressions.
Understood. So basically, and of course, when you say moving, basically vibrationally moving.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So tell me about, if you would please, the whole light being that showed in the pics at Stonehenge. Who was that, and what was the purpose behind that?
The purpose behind it was to let her know that we were very close to being able to be physical in the present, that we were able to be detected through a camera's lens. She knows that she was to take that picture into ceremony as she initiated others to receive that energy, the codes of that whole light being carried.
Amazing. And what was the Star of David on its chest? What did that represent? And what does that?
It does not represent the Jewish people as humanity knows and understands it. This is an ancient symbol.
Very good.
It is as above, so below, the masculine and the feminine. It is the basic geometry for this consciousness of humanity. It represents the Merkaba. It represents the Ea Asher Ea, the I am that I am, that hidden spark within each being part of creation. It is the primordial form, the primordial code for this dream of creation.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I was going to say the divine presence, but that was beautiful. Can you tell me about her connection to Orion?
As a gatekeeper and a way shower for those souls that will be choosing not to go with Gaia, understanding the energetic structure of creation, there are gates and portals throughout the omniverse. And it is almost like you have to have a map in your consciousness so that you don't get lost. It's alignment. It's the easiest way to make that jump into the rest of creation. It is through the portal at Orion.
Oh, understood. So she is correct in her knowledge and understanding of the importance of Orion and its mystery.
Yes, yes. It's also where the plans are made and creation moves from for this sector of creation.
So is she right in her correct in the statements that she heard that the Pleiades is 11D and Orion is 7D?
The Pleiades, all creation has the dimensions. It goes back to the density of the frequency of the inhabitants. She is correct in terms of when others are speaking of Pleiadians and connecting with them. their density is generally 5D. But just like on Earth, there are those that are 4D and 3D, and there's even masters who are of a higher level that are on the planet. But in general, the civilization of the Pleiades is 5th density.
Oh, very good. I hear that everyone who physically manifests on the planet Earth has to go through 11D uh, uh, to be able to incarnate in a physical form.
Well, all creation goes through 11D. It goes from Alpha and Omega at 18 down. 11D is not even any form. And it is certainly not a singular consciousness.
Excellent. Orion is 7D, is that correct?
Sirius is 6D.
Are you saying as well, or?
Sirius is 6D, not 7.
Okay, very good. That was just a question. Expand your knowledge about the star tetrahedron or the Star of David's, what I think you just did, and it's important to humanity and her work, which you just did. Is that correct?
It's that geometry. The importance is it contains codes for the HU, capital HU man, for the God man.
Oh, very good. Hue as in color or vibration. What about her connection to the keys of Enoch?
This connection comes from her work with the office of Melchizedek as a teacher of the science of creation and the science and evolution of the soul. It is work that she has done many times, only in cloistered surroundings.
Many times in many expressions, or speaking of her expression here in her physical form?
Many expressions, many.
Oh, very good.
And so when she found them in this expression, she immediately recognized.
Understood. Nice and loud and clear. Very good. Is it necessary for her to write her book, The Tapestry of the Soul and Its Evolution?
Yes.
Will it really be of service, or is it more for liberation and growth, or is it ego gratification?
Well, she will do nothing unless it's of service. She worries a lot about making sure it's not her ego speaking.
Absolutely.
Holds herself back as a result of that. It is necessary for those that come across.
Excellent. She was wondering that, if, it seems like everything has already been written, but I think her perspective and her particular energy and creative gifts will bring new life into information. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, she has a way of synthesis that many who have maybe come across these teachings before were not able to reconcile in their thinking. And it, of course, does not fit in. Again, it's for the awakened, but also the unawakened.
There are many who will be able to resonate with the way she says it. Very good. Should she be an open channel to write them, or just to relay on her current state of knowledge and understanding?
She is an open channel. That's where her current understanding comes from.
Oh, very good. And is she right in thinking that the book should be a series?
That would make it easier for others to absorb. There is the concern with the low level of consciousness that can only take things in sound bites.
Understood. So how should they be broken down and in what sequence should she write them?
As creation unfolds.
Should they be... I'm sorry.
From creation at the macro level, because they will not be able to understand the micro level without that.
Understood. Should they be basic or written with more initiates are, for already on the path?
Basic, because the concern is for the unawakened.
Very good. Understood. And what is the timeline that she should focus on, that she should, as far as writing them?
Six months. Write them as one book, but break them into three.
Write it as... Okay, very good. Excellent. So what should be first, the website or the book?
The website.
Excellent. I think she knew that already. And she was wondering, is her website, is it really necessary to be going on to the benefit of the divine plan?
Yes, it brings the codes into the physical network of communication.
Excellent. That makes sense. And why would she be resisting writing the book and activating the website?
She is a perfectionist. Knowing that she is human, she worries about the work that may come through that are from her lower aspects versus her higher aspect.
But she doesn't need to worry about that.
No, she does not.
I think innately she knows it, but it's really good to get the confirmation. What is the blue star as it relates to her future?
This is the work of her collective soul consciousness. It is the dream that they are dreaming. It has never been done before.
And the dream that has never been done, would this be in reference to Homo sapiens in their physical form being able to shift into a higher dimension with the form intact?
No.
Okay.
It has to do with antimatter.
And if you could elaborate at all, not for my understanding, for my understanding of but for her understanding, just in case, because this was a good question of hers, as far as the blue star.
It is about this whole design of creation is coming to a conclusion. It has always been about she comes from the feminine in the original unfolding of creation, the Alpha and Omega. The Omega, the feminine, is passive and the matrix, and did not design the plan, did not have the ideas, is the background of which the ideas are fed into.
Did she just give birth to them?
Yes, they came. Just like a man fertilizes a female womb, the woman receives the codes with the matrix that exists within her, and the child is birthed. much the same way the divine feminine receives the plan, the codes. This is very hard for women to understand and has been one of the major distortions regarding the sacred feminine.
Understood.
It is a passive role, a powerful role, a role of responsibility, because that energy is what maintains creation once it comes into being. The nurture aspect. In the new scheme of creation, the roles are going to be reversed. And the feminine is going to be the one that is the spark, if you will. This has not been done before. And obviously it is not a single soul, it is a collective work, and it's to take all those experiences and go into the micro versus expanding into the micro versus expanding into the macro.
Oh, amazing. So she's giving birth to a new dream then, as
Yes.
as the old dream fades.
It is something that she is considering.
Amazing. Could you tell her more about the relevance of the teaching book, the Relevatorium, for her and her path and mission?
This is for the future self, the work that we were just talking about.
Oh, very good. Why has she chosen to stay when she has been told that her work was done and that she could leave on, she's been told she can leave on several occasions?
Number one, she is a vessel of the codes. And her presence on the planet keeps the codes in a way that's more than if she was not here. It doesn't say she is the only one, but she does add to the 100th monkey scenario.
Understood.
Had fulfilled her contract. She had done all that contracts because she then took on others. And then the other part is she is a watcher. It is part of that future self observing how things unfold. It is another way of continuing to not only collect knowledge and data, but also to be a communications conduit for about what is going on the planet, so that the temperature is constantly being taken.
Oh, very good. So she's a watcher of the light, and she's adding the information that she's watching into the sort of like the living library that relates directly back to source.
Yes, that, but more for current events, monitoring the progress of humanity.
She was wondering before we began about the councils that she's in and what actually takes place in the councils or the communities. Could you elaborate on that since we're speaking of?
Yes. The one that work relates to the work of the Watchers is the Council of Nine in Arcturus, which works with the records of humanity and is part of the decision-making team for what humanity will accomplish, be able to accomplish what they qualify for.
Oh, very good.
The Council in Orion is about energy and gateways and keeping the gateways open to the higher dimensions and to other aspects of the light worlds, both towards Earth and away from Orion to the great central sun. It is what her soul's primary work was when she came as a great cosmos.
Oh, very good. Could you elaborate on the great central sun? It's said a lot, and so many people have so many different ideas of what it actually is, and I'm really happy that you brought it up.
Yes, this is something that she constantly is wanting clarification for as well. The great central sun is the throne for this creation story, and there are many creation stories. It includes the omniverse as humans are able to know and understand it. But within the great central sun, there are other central suns, such as your Milky Way has a central sun. That is the portal, a gateway to the great central sun, as Orion is a gateway to our central sun in the Milky Way. And your sun is the portal to Orion. But there is a certain pathway that the energy river flows. It's the conduit that the codes flow through, out through creation, just like acupuncture meridians. Meridians break down into nulls and voids and nodes. And life exists on vibrant nodes. All of creation is part of the creation plan, but much of it is unqualified with the higher codes.
Thus the processes that it goes to qualify.
Yes, and the great central sun is where the unknowable prime creator resides.
Oh, very good. I was waiting for that. In order to qualify, you qualify via experience?
Via density.
I mean, yeah, density experience, I meant to say.
Via density.
Oh, very good.
Once you return to the great central sun, you must understand that your consciousness is totally absorbed. And so, again, as creator, wanting to play and experience, that isn't really the goal, ultimately, unless that soul, it is erroneous to think of absorption into the great central sun as a part of creation.
Because that's the true oneness and true unity.
Correct.
Without individualized consciousness or expression.
No, nothing. She was put through this experience in a journey.
Good. How often do we join back with Source and then at one point decide that, well, Source is constantly creating itself anew, is it not?
It is not creating anew because it is.
Oh, very good. So what about the expressions of Source when they go into density?
They no longer, well, when they go into density, they become fractals or fragments of experience. But if they do get absorbed into the great central sun, think this through, that energy no longer exists. Don't go.
I I do understand what you're saying. I I meant to say into density first, and then they can create themselves anew over and over and again, over and over. How often are souls actually uh, reconnecting with Source?
They touch
I
it, but
mean,
they because they're this is beyond my pay grade, but based on when they go, if that great central sun ever reaches its end, they would all be absorbed and go into a different creation story.
okay. Not to say that there's anything unconnected to Source at all, but we're just speaking about density, and so very good, amazing, wonderful information, and we're very thankful and grateful for the information that is coming through. Right now, now that is part of this work. How does it have to do with her voice, Lynn's voice?
That has to do with her future self as well.
Is this her future self in this in her linear expression as Linn, or beyond?
Voice is very powerful for her, but what she's fearful of with the voice is creating incorrectly in the mission of the star.
But it's not possible for her to do so, is it?
No, but sense of me. When the vision is not clear and not well defined, then there's room for distortion.
Thus meaning she has more work to do? Would that be accurate?
No, this is her work with her higher collective and working together in unity to create this thing that's never been created before.
I understand. So is it in her human expression where the fear emanates from, as opposed to her higher expression?
Yes, she is the one who's been able to destroy with sound in the past.
Oh, very good. Very, very good. Now, what is the importance and relevance of her personal Stargate?
This was brought to her by us for her to assist others, but to bring the codes and anchor them in the particular geography that she is in as part of the chain of the star tetrahedron around the planet.
Oh, very good. And when you say we, when you represent yourself as Horus, Horus is a collective, would that be accurate?
Yes.
And what makes up the collective of Horus, if you will?
The collective of Horus is the lineage that works with and carries and molds and fashions the codes, even beyond 7D. As the ones who brought it to her actually were 11th dimensional. We are.
Oh, very good. And what is her connection with Hank, or Henry Jones II? We're doing this together. How was she led to me or guided?
For the next level of work, as sound lions roaring, he came to her through the passage of Lion's Gate. It is when they planned to connect. They have worked together on many, many projects and are working together on many projects. She is a carrier of codes for him.
Could you repeat that again, please?
She is a carrier of codes for him.
Oh, very good.
They both can teach each other. It is to bring together, an attempt to bring together the communities who will create those zones of light for the education of humanity.
So Lynn is a teacher as well, is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Did she resist that teaching?
Yes and no. She is very much a natural teacher, but she does not, she constantly is striving for group connection versus leader and teacher and student connection. So that has never been something that she has aspired to, but has oftentimes been put into because she is a teacher and her voice does shift. But it is part of that higher goal of group consciousness that she is one who is trying to create on this planet and is encountering much difficulty doing so, as she was advised she would.
And I just had another question just to clarify. You said you heard lions roaring.
Yes, the Lion's Gate that we just passed through, the lions, think of their roar, they change the vibration. And vibration is sound. Sound is, of course, the word, whether it's spoken word or the written word. They are codes, and the word is codes. So he came roaring through during the Lion's Gate, and she shared with you her name is Lioness. So there is connection there.
All right, thank you for that. I wondered, once she told me her story, and it was so amazing how we were connected, and to see that we've worked together before. Very, very good. And also knowing we're on some of the same councils and communities. So with that said, she feels her teachings are to help prepare humankind for ascension as a foundational education after the ascension, during the ascension, or not?
Both.
Oh, very good. And is the work on the soul rays and initiations on target and relevant?
This is understanding that will help the souls that are ascending choose their next level of assignment. It also helps awakening souls to understand their beingness and to be able to reconcile not only their gifts, but also their challenges that they encountered through their lives.
Ah, very good. And is she correct in thinking that her teachings are not for those who have not awakened or recognized the complexity of the ascension and the diversity of the souls?
We have covered this. Writing the books at a basic level will help awaken further, although those that would pick up that book would be already awake, but maybe not conscious.
Understood. I know sometimes that with the questions repeat or what have you, and we actually spoke about that before, but I just like to be thorough.
And it will come through for those that are further past. They will be written on multiple dimensions, but focus on being able to reach the newly awakened.
Oh, very good. You're already asking the questions before I've even gotten to them, and I'm really following you now. Could you tell her about the relevance of the meetup group, the Soul Evolution, Ascension, and Beyond, or CEA and Beyond?
This group we asked her to do because, first of all, Nashville is an important portal on the planet and gate to try to establish again group consciousness that is aware of what is going on with the shift, and to start with the new energies that have come through and have anchored, to see how well they spread through the consciousness of those that she has connected with physically, as well as through the Facebook group. It was also part of the watcher responsibilities to see that, and as, again, an attempt to see the readiness of a localized human group for group consciousness.
Oh, very good. And what more must she do to prepare personally for ascension?
She must take the brakes off.
And how was she putting the brakes on?
She holds back because, again, her work is to be present, and it is hard to be present as a human and take the brakes off. It is also, some will take the brakes off, and that is their particular path. Hers has not been. She would not have stayed.
Is she worried about what others around her, how they'll perceive her if she took the brakes off?
Maybe 10%. It is not a big factor.
Oh, very good. But the best thing to do is to just take the brakes off. And she understands that. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
She does things that, and it is painful for her to stay in the physical. Is
this more mentally and psychologically, emotionally, as opposed to physically?
Yes.
Understood. Pain, I mean. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, understood. But you're doing everything that you can to help relieve that, I'm sure. Is that correct?
Yes. She visits, experiences the sorrow. She is one of the things that we've worked with to get her okay with is, as you have questioned, those who are left behind.
Oh, very good. And with that sorrow it can be very motivating then.
It is motivating. It's also she
And take a long, slow, deep breath. Inhale deeply. And feel the relaxation moving through your body as the connection becomes just a little stronger. Loud and clear. Take your time.
So the breaks have been because she has also been adjusting to the realization that not all will choose to go towards the light. And that this is okay. This is also part of the plan of creation. It is a choice each soul can make and must make. The hope is that they will go towards the light and become a part of the light worlds. And as we have told her, there are those who will work with those who have chosen to go the other direction.
Is it not true that all roads lead back to Source, and that eventually in their own time that they will achieve this anyway, even if it's not with this planet and through this particular process?
Yes, but think of all the terror and persecution and murder that goes on in this planet. Many, by not awakening and making the choice, will be experiencing more of that.
So it's in our understanding that as we shift into this higher density, those who are awakened and ready and aware with the intent to shift into this higher density, those that are sort of left behind, even though there's nowhere that they're going except for from one density to another, will still be, will they, it's in my understanding that they will then leave the planet Earth, and maybe or their expressions will incarnate in another place, in places where they can be healed, in places where they can continue a 3D existence without the negativity and the drama and the low vibration that is here. So is that correct?
And they can choose the drama.
Oh, and if they choose the drama, are they choosing the drama out of free will, or out of because they're lost and they're amnesiac and they've been manipulated and programmed so much to where they can't escape it?
They are given choices. All will be given choices. They will have to choose. There is a new term of service to self versus service to others. They are both paths.
Oh, very good. And then with that understanding right there, does it make it much easier for Linn to be able to take off the brakes and still move forward?
Yes, and to move forward and to understand that her work is with both of them. She does need to try to awaken, continue her work, trying to awaken those that are under service to self that she encounters.
Understood. Very good. Well, yes, that's the reason why she stayed, because she has a desire to help. Defining ascension. So many people have so many definitions of ascension. Could the collective of Horus please define ascension for us in this moment?
Yes. Ascension is a gradated process. And there are, just like, again, we will use the analogy, you don't graduate elementary school till you've gone through kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade. There are paths, there are not paths, there are levels within levels within levels. And so ascension is that process of moving up through those levels, but there are major graduations on that pathway. Major opportunities, and there are certain ascension jumps, if you will, that can only take place in certain times and spaces. So when we speak of ascension from 3D to 4D to 5D, well, again, we're talking about frequencies of consciousness and moving more towards unity consciousness, collective consciousness. Prior to a major shift from 3D to 4D, this is what the initiations are. The first initiation of awakening or birth. The second initiation of the baptism. The third initiation of the transfiguration. The fourth of the crucifixion. And these are also, can only be accomplished by a third density level when the light streams are available to go into the higher initiations and literally make the shift. For instance, those that are ascended masters 7D may not make that shift until, it is very rare to make the shift until all of the energies are lined up.
Oh, very good.
Ascension
7D. I'm sorry.
Ascension complicated than, again, the vernacular of the New Age, which speaks of mostly conveys, and therefore they literally stop the ascension process because it is ongoing. It is just like in the mystery schools, you had to go through those steps and you had to be conscious of those steps. It is easier now. It does not take a lifetime.
Understood. And you said that it has to go through certain space, certain energies in space. Are you speaking literally, like right now we're traveling through, our solar system is traveling through a really high vibrational area in the galaxy? Is that
Yes.
Okay, very good. And also, just an interesting question that just popped into my head. You know how we always say cloud nine, or cloud cloud nine. I'm sorry, I was thinking of cloud seven, but you always hear of cloud nine, and I was never mind. I'll just stick with what you asked me here. What is the meaning while in meditation that the door is closed?
That had to do with the hope of what the, quote, New Age culture or religious path would create. It was closed because they got lost, as all other religious paths, in the ego streams. And they were actually creating more harm than good. This is not something she has been willing to share. It also related to the role that America would play on the planet in terms of the original dream and plan as a beacon of light unto the world. She made decisions, and steps, meaning the people, the decisions they made. And this was in 2012 when she was told this summer. Decisions had been made by their collective consciousness through what they were creating through their culture, to where they could no longer be that beacon of light. And that has transpired, has it not?
Well, in terms of the door is closed, your door is closed on, would you say, religious communities? And are you speaking of Catholics and?
No, speaking of the New Age, the light workers, that would be the word. Those that were speaking of themselves as light workers.
And when you say that door is closed,
as a religious path to be able to shift the world's consciousness, that opportunity was gone.
So are you basically saying that the ascension process, and then you also said that this is something that she didn't want to share. What would be the point of writing the book, of doing all those things? Has there been a group of people that are entities or souls that have already ascended, and we're all what's left behind? Is that what you're saying?
Not an ascension door that was closed.
Oh, very good, very good.
It was there. Think of a lighthouse, shining light.
Yes.
They had made decisions as a collective, not all light workers, but as a collective, decisions, and what they were teaching and the paths they were showing were not the paths that lead to 5D.
Oh, very good. And, believe it or not, I totally understand that. Okay. Thank you very much. And was she right in interpreting the information that she received that the New Age community had failed in their mission to awaken humanity? Or that particular group?
Yes. Yes.
And so about the remainders of those who are still in this community, or apart from this community, such as you and myself and many others who are still holding light and still shining our beacons and writing the books and doing these sessions and everything that we can in order to get them through the portals and these gateways.
They are being given the help, and given the resources. The bad thing is that they could have gone as a collective group, such as the power of the Catholic religion. If they had pushed through the ego and the judgment and the elitism, they could have reached way more so easily. They could have become a world focus. And now, none of that work, the positive work, is negated. There has been a reset, if you will, and bringing them into the things that they resist.
Understood. And like in the very beginning of this, you said that there were outside forces and manipulations that had taken place that reinforced the negative agenda, so to speak.
Yes.
And how does that play into, because it was against our free will, was it not?
We all agreed to it.
Okay, so it was within our free will and we chose to do it. And so, okay, very good. So it makes us all responsible for what's going on right now. Very good. Now, you defined dimension and density earlier, and thank you very much. That really was brought home for me. Could you validate and expand for us the understanding of soul evolution, initiation, and ascension?
The soul evolves. The soul is a fractal. There's many levels. Kabbalah has taught it. Indigenous teachings teach it. Certainly, the religions teach it in some form or manner that the soul evolves. The New Age community and the Tibetans and the Hindus understand that more than others because they accept the various ascended masters versus Christianity and even the Muslims. Somewhat Christianity with the saints and the Catholic side. But each of those beings that have been recognized as being saintly, really those that are on that what we would call the ascended master path, who have achieved different levels of evolution in the soul. with that comes different levels of responsibility for the masses. If you have done any studying and connection with the ascended masters, while they connect with us individually, their work is with the collective, and they are always have their eye focused on the collective and bringing in their unique piece of that tapestry of the collective to create a whole garment. And so the soul evolves from the moment it is first incarnated. That is what many do not understand. It continues to evolve through the good lives, the bad lives, the in-between lives. It is always on an evolutionary force of some sort. The question is always, what is it aligned with? First, the first decision, if we're working, let's say you work with chakras. So from the first chakra, it is at the evolution, a soul that has just been incarnated needs to learn to survive in a 3D matter body and has all the trials of being a caveman, learning survival on a day-to-day basis in whatever milieu they are in. Very, very tribal because, again, survival is more easily accomplished when we're in a tribe. So therefore we see cults, we see gangs, we see groups. Families work from there as well. And that the soul evolves to the emotional level, and then the mental, and then the heart, which is really where the initiations begin, when you have made that heart connection. And then that's when the understanding and the emotions and everything have been built enough that it makes sense. Why here? Why now? Why choose this world of duality? What has the soul been brought here to learn? What more does it need to learn? What more can it bring to the party, if you will, in terms of understanding density? We are the lowest level of sentient free will, as you have said, consciousness in 3D. We are as removed from the throne as you can get without becoming an animal, a plant, or a rock.
I was under the impression that those who came to physicality were very advanced souls who had what it took to be able to manifest in a scenario where they somewhat have an amnesia to their connection to source and a really strong emotional connection, stronger than any other entity in this probably universe. How off is that? Because you said we're the lowest or the closest. I just feel that we were highly evolved to be able to have what it takes to be able to manifest here.
Yes, highly evolved. Came into this third density skin sack to learn to master matter and all of the complications that have arisen in this zone of creation.
Very good.
There are souls that originated here who have not had lifetimes in other realms. They were the Adam and Eve story. A spark was dropped in. And so, again, it's learning as a soul from being originated in this experiment of Earth, that, and being of Gaia versus being of Andromeda or being of Orion.
So this is literally your next question, and it's I love the way it just comes together. What we would consider a new soul versus an old soul.
Yes, they would be new souls.
Oh, very good. Earth origin souls versus cosmic origin souls. This is amazing information. We're very blessed and happy to have the opportunity to really get these questions that so many have desired to get a better understanding of. How is Lynn's body doing now?
She is fine.
Oh, very good. Why has she recently been led to gain the understanding of the world of the Cabal or Illuminati, for lack of a better word, and also the off-world negative forces? Why she seems to be called to teach about it and spread this awareness?
This is one of her spiritual gifts that she has been reluctant to connect to. It is work that she has done in many lives as part of the office of Michael. She is aware of all that. She does not consider herself a warrior, yet she is a warrior. And her weapon is truth. As an observer, she was seeing that this mantle was not being taken up. Because this is a world of duality, and until one knows and understands the extent to which they have been led down that negative path of service to self, they cannot ascend on a positive service to others path. And so when we say there is no evil, or there is no darkness, right here, these things do not exist. What you focus on, you create. Well, I mean, again, this is also because those they are and are being controlled to stop flow of information.
Had you ever thought that those who say that are aware of it and they set unconditional love those scenarios, but don't focus on it? Should there be a focus on it?
How do you win the awakened?
Oh, very good. Very, very good. We've had this before. Amazing and very good. That's exactly that's why I always would say when certain people bringing out certain information, Alex Collier, it's good that they bring up the information because first of all it's exciting and it draws in, and then as you continue to listen, more light is coming into these conversations and you're making different associates. Go around the house building and find out what's behind where. So
yes, that's where it comes in. No charge. When someone says, "I just love everybody, just love," that is a judgment, because many times they are assuming the other person's incapable of that level of love. And that is a negative charge, is it not?
Very good. If you can elaborate on that, I am going to go and grab the cord to plug this in to make sure we don't run out of energy.
Yes. It is a judgment, but it is also fear. If Christ stayed and said love, did he go amongst the darker forces and shine a mirror of their actions? He taught disciples on neighbors, and they them order of mastering I, David, archons, they do exist. And liberating, even 16, there's still darkness within the light. And recognizing that and shining the light on it is the only way to transform it. And that would be love, but it would also, we always talk about light and love. Love is the current. It's the alpha and the omega, the masculine and the feminine. So we oftentimes if we don't acknowledge the duality as a master, and those around us that are unawakened are drowning in it, where is the mastery in that?
Very good.
They need the light to see what is going on. They need the knowledge. They need the understanding. And David Icke and this Alex Collier do not have easy jobs they have volunteered for.
Totally understand. Thank you very much for clarifying that. And we have had this discussion before, but you put that brilliantly, and very grateful for that. Also, distance of the workers are returned by the diseases due to the interference of negative forces.
It is many occasions, yes. And or not done the work of clearing of fear. It is that chakra free.
And that's why they're able to be manipulated, maybe, or interfered with by having cleared that chakra.
Again, did not be right into demons. There was fear.
Absolutely.
And part of his work, that is the work of the office of the Christ. That is what salvation is. It is what redemption is. He came as a savior into the darkness to shine the light. And that meant he had to go into those darkest places and be love, and to recognize and call out what was stopping the light and the love from flowing through the hearts of humanity.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. We are very, very grateful for the opportunity to come together like this and receive this information. And I know that Linn will be very, very much appreciative of all the information that has come out. Now is there anything else that Horus would like to share with the collective in this moment before we move from this position here?
All contain the code to be or do whatever you want to be or do. All are sons, God is God. Just like there is a big brother and a little brother, a big sister and a little sister, a mother and a father. All souls are evolving. All souls are at different places, but that does not mean they are less. And then the soul recognizes that. That is when it truly becomes sovereign, because it recognizes its own divinity. And that is the work on the planet now, is to bring as many souls as possible to that understanding of divinity and that divine spark. That is their soul aspect that's within them.
Excellent. And thank you very much for that. And I have just one question that I'd like to ask. I'm very interested to know, Horus, being a bird-like figure and having blue and indigo colors in the feathers, would Horus be representative of what we have been told as the avian, the blue?
Yep. The avians are the angelic. It is part of the angelic lineage. And yes, he is. And the avian beings that are here are of that, again, with many different levels of responsibility. And yes, responsibility and task. But he is an avian. He is not one of the original builder races that were here. The avians that are here speaking are connected with the original builder races, actually very, very instrumental in the evolution of humanity and its consciousness in this zone. Horus is part of that, but beyond that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes very good sense. Well, we're very grateful for that, and we're very thankful. Now, let's drift away from the scene. We're drifting, floating away from the scene, leaving everyone there on their path, to continue there on their journey, and they will find peace. We're leaving them to continue on their journey. Now I would like all the consciousness and personality of Linn to once again return to the body and fully integrate back into the body. May I speak to Linn's subconscious, please?
Yes.
I have permission to speak to Linn's subconscious.
Yes.
I respect the power of the subconscious because I know the subconscious takes care of Linn's body and does a very good job of it. I also know that the subconscious has the records of everything that has ever happened to Linn in this lifetime and all the other lifetimes that she has ever lived. So I respect the power of the subconscious, and I always ask for permission to speak to it and ask questions. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I know the subconscious could have brought forth many different lifetimes for Linn to see today. You chose to bring forward this life for her as a young boy in a jungle with a golden pyramid. Why did you show her that particular life?
It is what Gaia wanted her to see. The pristine, vibrant life and connection to the higher realms. It represented the grid and her responsibility as that pyramid was her coming to the planet to set up the life systems.
Oh, beautiful. And then the next life that you showed her was that of a queen of the Nile. Well, we just used the word the queen of the Nile, but she was in Egypt, the country. Why did you show her that particular life?
She has been Egyptian in many lifetimes and always involved either with the royalty or the priesthood. It is because to remind her of her having done that work. This has been a continuation of that work. And to acknowledge her frustration.
Oh, very good. So by her seeing that particular life, has it helped her in any way?
Yes, she was somewhat aware of that life anyway, but didn't really understand why, and now knows about her work in awakening the souls, helping them, as she's trying to do now, to discover the divinity within.
Ah, beautiful. And she left the place briefly. She left each life that you've shown her really briefly. I mean, quickly. She was there. She was able to focus in, and then she then was greeted by Horus. And what was the purpose of showing her connection with Horus and the collective?
She is because she is of the avian lineage, the angelic lineage, and it was easiest for her to receive that information from him. She's worked with him. He actually showed himself in her first Reiki attunement. And so this was very familiar with her. She actually was able to meld into him.
Oh, very good. She obviously had a really strong connection because the words just flowed from her very smoothly and very brilliantly, I might add.
Yes. Yes. It's She
Is
actually knows she has wings.
beautiful. I was told that I was a part of that group as well.
The other,
Could you call? Could you say that again, please?
the other connection with her, you carry the codes.
Very good.
Through the
Very.
wind moving through the air, that the codes are able to be sent out and shifted and charged.
Excellent. I would ask you now, could you please scan her body with your loving unconditional light, and could you tell me anything that she needs to know that she could possibly focus on, or just reinforce her aura and spin her chakras? Is that possible?
And she knows what she needs to do. She knows that she would benefit from fasting, as she has done before, for physical cleansing, but also for deeper, higher connection.
Oh, very good.
That will handle anything that is somewhat distorted at this point.
And while you're working on her, may I ask one last question?
Yes?
How is it that she and I, or is it that she and I are supposed to do any type of work together, or is what we're doing here now a part of that, what we would consider work?
What we're doing now is part of the work, but there is also, it is time for a gathering of beings to go to the next level of creating the academies of light on the planet. And so connecting those that would be or could be involved in this work is part of the energy stream that is circling the planet now. They will be areas around the planet.
Do you have any feedback as to how this will take place, or anything that you think that we need to know, or is it just us in knowing that to send unconditional love to that scenario? But you speak of an urgency, so
It is that, yes, it is established in unconditional love. And when that is done, it is into the grid. It does not need to be sent. Again, the unconditional love is foundational. It is the matrix. It is the background. And so by all means, working on being that love. But these academies, again, are more about accelerated training of the soul for what it is going to encounter. And making sure that every soul, much like the Christians with their message that they got about being missionaries around the planet and spreading the word of God, these beings that are being called into action now are like those missionaries that have the word, have the understanding of who we are, why we're here, where we're going, what the opportunities are. And the energy is here, is coming, that will lead those that are seeking to them more readily than in the past. Literally becoming stronger beacons of light. And the reason Hank was brought in is because he has this non-fear. of understanding the whole human experience and coming to the place of being able to explain, you choose this path, this is what is in front of you. You choose that path, this is what is in front of you. You make the choice. There is no judgment there. And that is indeed part of his work. And that is what these schools will be as well. Because if someone is drowning in the chaos, however that may be manifested, whether it's poverty or perception of lack of abundance, because Americans do not know what poverty is truly.
Truly.
Perception of lack of abundance, abuse, up to including, murder, etc. These things have to be acknowledged and healed. And how can that happen if they are not focused on? How can a do that? How can a healer help if this is not focused on and recognized? And certainly not by saying you need to be focusing on something else, because that consciousness, it was a real experience for them. It is a real experience. And so being able to look at that experience with no charge, positive or negative, because all things do happen. This one, Linn, had the experience of in July of 2001 at a sun moon dance. And she was dancing for a vision which an elder had told her was waiting for her. A 4-day dance for which she was not prepared. Many prepare for years for this, and she had 6 weeks. She went to this dance to get this vision, but not wanting to do the dance. When she got there, knowing she was not physically, she had not trained, did not think she would be physically able to dance. This was in the high desert plains in Colorado, where you dance 24 hours a day for 4 days with no food or no water. So she did not feel like she was adequate to that task. But when she learned that once you received your vision, you could leave the dance and continue it in silence in your own teepee with food and water, she thought she would be the first to leave the dance, and was like, okay, I can do this because I'm not going to be able to do this dance. She ended up dancing the whole dance because she was not allowed to collapse, which is typically when one receives a vision in a dance, is upon the point of collapsing. But she is an energy conduit, so there is no way that she would run out of energy. But also others were using her energy for their various purposes to stay in the dance and receive their badge for completing the dance. That does not mean that she did not get her vision. She received the vision as a 4-day conversation. During that time, she was told about 911 and that it would be happening in September. She did not know what was going to happen. She just was told there would be a major event that would shift the consciousness of the world. And she was being asked to make changes in her life to accommodate this and her work after that event. She could not understand why she had to do those changes if this major event was coming, because she was being asked to become a colon therapist and to start a healing center in Nashville. And she was trying to figure out why, if there was a major event, thinking nuclear bomb, comet, something hitting the planet where everyone would be in survival mode, why they would be interested in cleaning out their bowels. And she was told that it was just the first event of many that would be used. But not only that, her question was, why are you doing this? Why is that necessary? Because she was on that pendulum that all was love, there was no need for negative things. And God said to her, how else do I awaken them? They do not pay attention to the other things. So when we disavow those things, they are tools that he, even though they are of the negative aspects, and we're being planned by the negative aspects, sure, the higher forces could have came in and stopped them, but they did not, because of our free will and the plan, but also because they were able to use those as tools of awakening. And so as we see things get darker and darker on our planet, the hope is that there will be enough, whether it is the 500 that you talked about, or the 144,000 which others mention, or the 144, but that whatever that number is for the 100th monkey, that they will suddenly be able to see that there is light, and they can choose, and many will. But there will be some, as she learned in this dance, who will not make that choice.
Understood. That was a mouthful and an earful, and very pertinent, and we are very appreciative for this information. How is her body now?
She is doing good. She's an energy conduit.
And have you finished scanning her body?
Yes.
Is there anything that she